Good evening, my fellow Michiganders. Good evening, my fellow Americans. We have a lot of good stuff to go over tonight. Got some new data for you all. We're going to talk about the Keep Michigan Safe email campaign that they are heating up. They're sending them out pretty much every other day now. So we're going to talk about a few of those. Kind of comical with what they're writing in there. So we're going to analyze those. We're going to talk about the lockdowns, if they worked. Well, guess what? As we are all well aware of, the states with the most severe lockdowns, which we've been saying, have the highest deaths per 1 million. So we all knew this, but lo and behold, the research is actually starting to come out that supports what we have been saying all along: is the lockdowns is not how you deal with this. And so we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the face diapers in the gyms and how horribly unhealthy that is. And it still just shocks me that they're medical professionals. They even called her the top doctor in the state of Michigan, would even suggest and think that that's healthy, and it's not. And I got the research for that. And obviously the Trump Caravan event that's going to be happening on September 19th that I'm going to go down there and speak at on a Saturday morning in Grand Rapids. I think it's Northeast Grand Rapids. The event description is going to be in this description of this video. So if you guys want to check that out, they're trying to get 1,000 cars. And I know we're going to probably do a whole heck of a lot more than that. So make sure if you're available on that day, come on down for an hour, decorate your car and experience it, because it's going to be a high energy event. And I'll be speaking around 10:45 to start it off. So it'll be fun. So let's get into the fun stuff tonight. The Keep Michigan Safe campaign. Here we go. This is what I live for, folks. Thank you for the support you've shown in the last month since we lost our digital program. Hundreds of concerned Michiganders have stepped up to become a donor in this fight against this partisan power grab. Hundreds of concerned Michiganders. Well, our little movement is hundreds of thousands, but you keep getting your hundreds. One day you may get up to the level of we the people and what we're doing, but they're good for them. We're reaching out today to let you know that the best way to stay connected and up to date on the news regarding the petition drive is by liking our Facebook page. They got a Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen, and I guarantee they won't get censored like we have been, and they probably won't get removed like we have, right, in the past. But they got a Facebook page now. Congratulations, Keep Michigan Safe. Now, look, I know a lot of you probably want to go there right now and start commenting on it. Don't even bother. We're a better movement than that. We're nonviolent and we're positive. So we're not going to stoop to their level and go attack their page and troll on them, because that's not what we do. So don't do that. But they're trying to stop us every which way that they can. It's too late. It's too late. We're going to get this done in the next couple of weeks, because we are going to do what? To continue to hammer down Michigan. We're going to continue to hammer down, get that 400,000 by Labor Day, which is a few days, and then 500,000 by next week. Keep the momentum going, pedal to the metal, as we say. So that one's a little short one. The second one, I like this one a lot, okay? A new poll shows that a clear majority of Michiganders oppose the work of Unlock Michigan, with only 36% supporting it. Wow, 36%? So there's 10 million Michiganders. So 3.6 million support us? I'll take that any day of the week. And holy cow, if we get 36% support, that's 3.6 million signatures. I wonder what other petitions that we could do and get done with our momentum. So that just got me all fired up that 36% of Michigan actually supports the Unlock Michigan petition. That means 3.6 million Michiganders. I told you we were just getting warmed up. So that's exciting news to me, because, you know, we are rolling with this thing, obviously, and we have the momentum of we the people. But 36%, man, there's 3.6 million of us out there. So who knows what we can do with that? But that was good news. So from the beginning, we knew that taking away Governor Whitmer's emergency powers was both unpopular and a violation of our democracy. We're a constitutional republic, number one. The violation of our democracy. They keep saying that. You know, I'll talk about a young lady who was a little, not negative or mean, but she was agitated at the petition, the Unlock petition table that I visited today on my live. And we'll talk about her. But it's just interesting that they really, truly believe that our nanny governor actually saved us all. And it's because of her and her unilateral decision-making that saved Michigan. It's just, look, We're never going to change that 30% over there. No matter what happens. And remember, all this data that I'm coming up with right now, it's all up to date, accurate, and truthful. It's right today, the latest and greatest data that continues to support us, that continues to support what we all knew all along. Now, look, the other side's not going to like that. Their egos, they are going to get very hurt, and they are going to defend their egos at all costs. Even though the data supports us, they're still going to go to their grave thinking and believing that we did what's right. That's just how the ego works for some people, even though it all proves right here that, folks, we were right. And we know that we're right. And we'll continue just to do the two rules, right? Always do what's right and always tell the truth, okay? And so what's worse is that Unlock Michigan is being led by people who openly support Donald Trump's reelection campaign, and they are planning on collecting thousands of signatures at an upcoming Trump rally. Thousands? Probably tens of thousands. And yeah, we lean a little right on this movement. There's no doubt about it. Because if they had a JFK on the other side, I would consider voting for that because I like JFK. I always vote for the person, not the party. So Joe Biden, Donald Trump, I'm going to lean with Donald Trump this time until they get somebody that can actually go towards the middle and not to the radical far left. That's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to who they want to vote for, but that's just me being honest and transparent with all of you. We can't have partisan politics endanger the lives of Michiganders with a harmful petition drive, and we need to fight back now. Donate more money to their hundreds of people that are supporting them. This one's a good one. This one's hot off the press. Just got this one. Republican Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey is recruiting more volunteers for Unlock Michigan via text. They actually have his text on here, and we need to stop him. Oh, Mike Shirkey, you dirty bird. How dare you try to restore the checks and balances of this great state, right? So his text that Mr. Shirkey came out with, the Senate Majority Leader, if you're out collecting Unlock Michigan petitions this weekend, I just want to say thank you and bless you. Let's get this done. That's great. What a positive, empowering text from our Senate Majority Leader. I don't find anything wrong with that, right? So it's what positivity should be. That's what leadership should be, right? Positivity, inspire, thank them, right? Great job, Mike. Keep Michigan Safe was formed because we know that taking away Gretchen's life-saving authority would hurt Michiganders. They just keep throwing that around, right? Life-saving, right? And the Republicans organized this petition drive are egging on their right-wing supporters to collect as many signatures as possible. We know this is all garbage. It continues to be garbage, but they continue to send those emails, and I'll continue to get on here and talk about them. So keep it up. I enjoy this. Okay, let's talk about some new data that we came up with today, especially when I get into the face diapers and working out, which is horribly not good, not healthy. Okay, and I got the data to support it. So let's talk about the lockdowns, which we all know didn't work, right? The research shows that they didn't work. And the research coming out right now shows that they didn't work, okay? And the Lancet is a very highly respected medical journal, went on to say that increased mortality per million was significantly associated with higher obesity prevalence, okay? So hang with me as I go through this narrative because obviously people who are obese are more susceptible to this virus, okay? And we kind of all knew that. And we talked about that before. This really is only truly dangerous to the people with 2 or 3 underlying medical conditions that are elderly over the age of 70, mostly over the age of 80, who are unfortunately dying from this virus. It does exist. It is real. But we've known all along that obese people have a bigger chance of dying from this too, and that's what the research is starting to show. So by her opening the gyms the other day, like, look, none of this, all of her decision making has not had any common sense. All the way back in the beginning when she talked about, gas station pump handles, that guy might have contracted COVID. If you guys remember her saying that, I think back in April or early May, she kept bringing that narrative like this guy traveled up to northern Michigan and he thinks he might have contracted COVID by touching a gas station pump handle. And that was the fear narrative that they were going, like, if you go and get gas or travel, you were going to die from this disease. That's just what they said. And the gyms have been shut down. So now that we're reading this research and we know that obese people, right, have a more susceptibility to dying of this virus, then why aren't we opening the gyms? But it's okay. And this still doesn't make any sense to me that we wear the mask, right, or the face diaper, excuse me. We walk to our restaurant table and we take it off and we eat. And there's sometimes even people in there that bring it up, take it down, take a drink, put it back up, which totally makes that face diaper useless, but that's what people do, and they believe that this is actually working, right? But we can't go to a gym and where you basically social distance, right? And you wipe down the equipment and work out. Like, why haven't those been open for the past several months? She's 3 months too late to the party, folks. We should have been working out. We should have been de-stressing. We should have been leaning up, to make our body stronger. So those are the common sense solutions that still don't make any sense. And we can play high school sports now, but there's still schools out there that aren't doing in-person learning. Like, it's just all just a ultimate clown show as we continue to talk about. There's no common sense in any of these things. So also mortality rates were also higher in those counties with an older population. Obviously, we knew that. Lastly, government actions such as border closures, full lockdowns, and a high rate of COVID-19 testing were not associated with statistically significant reductions in the number of critical cases or overall mortality. So what they're finding out, that the lockdowns weren't the solution to this. And that's what the data shows. And we talked about that on the last couple lives, is the states with the most severe lockdowns and mandates, they're the ones doing the worst, right? So it's been out there, but people refuse to listen, maybe because they got their face diaper over their ears and they can't see it too, right? Because they got face diapers over their eyes. So let's talk about this great article that was in the Wall Street Journal a couple days ago, I think. Yep, September 1st. And these articles are all in the description. So everybody's always saying, hey, I need that research. I need that data. The links to the articles where you can go look them up are going to be in the description of this video. I always want to be very transparent with all of you so you can go there and actually look up the data, because I always tell all of you, question your medical professionals, question your elected officials, question me, okay? And that's why I always, when I make statements or facts off the data, I want to include those things so people can understand that they can go there and look, okay? That's just how I roll throughout this entire process. And so the failed experiment of COVID lockdowns. 6 months into this pandemic, the U.S. has now carried out 2 large-scale experiments in public health. First, in March and April, the lockdown of the economy to arrest the spread of the virus, and second, since mid-April, the reopening of the economy. The results are in. Counterintuitive though it may be, statistical analysis shows that locking down the economy did not contain the disease spread, and reopening, it didn't unleash a second wave of infection. So you remember all that fear-mongering that they were doing, that a second wave is coming, right? When we open a second wave, right? Considering that lockdowns are economically costly, we know that, and create well-documented long-term public health consequences beyond COVID, that's what I said from the beginning. The solution to this virus cannot be bigger than the catastrophic consequences of the excessive quarantine and lockdown and taking away people's citizens' rights, sacred values, and constitutional freedoms. We said that ever since April 9th, right when I started Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine. Imposing them appears to have been a large policy error. Imposing the lockdowns appears to have been a large policy error. At the beginning, when little was known, officials acted in ways they thought prudent, which they did. Like, I'm not throwing anybody underneath the bus from the beginning of this thing, because nobody really knew how to handle this. Everybody was just kind of doing their own thing. However, good leaders take analysis and take data that's up to date and then base their decision-making off of that. That's where she went wrong in the state of Michigan. She continued with her narrative, even though the science and data, that's what she keeps talking about, that she has been basing all of her decision-making off the science and data, untruth, because we'd be open up by now if she was, right? But it appears to be a large policy error. That's according to the data right now. I'm sure there's going to be more data, but everything's starting to support our narrative and go against their narrative, which now they are painting themselves into a corner because everything is just a complete, utter clown show now, and everybody knows that the gig is up, okay? At the beginning, when little was known, officials acted in ways they thought prudent, but now evidence proves that lockdowns were an expensive treatment with serious side effects and no benefits to society. You know, when I read that, I get really frustrated. I get very upset, and I get angry, because all of this, all of the tens of thousands of lives that are ruined, the increased suicides, domestic violence, increased divorce rates. I mean, we ruined people's lives from faulty leadership, from not going off the science and the data. From the very beginning, you had to go and you had to roll the dice with some things. I get that. I understand it, because nobody knew. But as the data started to come out and we flattened the curve, they just continued with this narrative that ruined people's lives. And now the data is starting to support that. And I have a problem with that. So I want you to know, all of you that maybe voted for her, don't vote her again. You know, she's up for re-election in 2 years. Remember this. And I will continue to bring up these things so it stays fresh in people's minds, because I'm not going to let this stuff go. I can't, because I know the people whose lives they've ruined. I've met them. I talked to them. I've hugged them. I know them. And when the research and the data comes and shows that it was all for nothing, kills me. I just don't understand how leaders can make these decisions knowing what the data says, because they got the same access that I do, if not more, and they still continue with this narrative and still continue to lead unilaterally. She could have been a hero, a true hero throughout this. She could have, but she chose not to. She decided to let petty politics and political agenda push her narrative. With the evidence we now possess, even the most risk-averse and single-minded public health officials should hesitate before demanding the next lockdown and causing the next economic recession. Okay? The Wall Street Journal, folks, it's in the link if you want to read it. So, I mean, it's just, it boggles my mind that this has happened to these poor people out there. You know, I'm very blessed in where I'm at in my life, but there are so many that I know and that I've met and that their lives are ruined from this. And it's just, it does tear out my heart. And I will continue to fight for all of you to make sure this never happens again. I will. And that's my vow ever since the beginning, is to restore those checks and balances in this great state. But to make sure this never happens again, folks. This can't happen again. Okay. So let's talk about exercise with a face diaper. Are we handling a double sword is the name of the article. And this is also in the link of where you can see this. And it's kind of like common sense. Obviously, if you wear a mask or a face diaper, it's going to decrease oxygen intake. That's a bad thing. Okay. So this is some of the things, and you can read all the science behind it. Exercising with customized face diapers induces a hypercapnic hypoxia environment. That's just inadequate oxygen. Okay. And carbon dioxide exchange. It's just not working how we're supposed to work as human beings. Okay, so what this does, it has a metabolic alteration, which is bad. You can read all the science. A poor immune response, increased cardiorespiratory stress, altered renal function, brain metabolism, and mental health. It goes on and on and on to talk about, and I'm not going to read it. You guys can look it up, but it's bad, folks. And I'm going to talk about what you can do with it. But exercising with face diapers might increase pathophysiological risk of underlying chronic disease, especially cardiovascular and metabolic risk. Social exercises are recommended to do low to moderate intense exercise rather than vigorous exercise when they are wearing their face diapers. We also recommend people with chronic disease to exercise alone at home under supervision when required without the use of a face diaper. All right, these are medical professionals that are coming out here and saying this. Given the identified in risk of social distancing and self-isolation appear to be better than wearing the face diapers while exercising during this global crisis, right? So if you're going to go work out, which I'm a big fan of, I love working out, and you're going to wear that face diaper, do not do strenuous exercise. Make sure if you have to wear the face diaper, I will not. Sorry, I'm not going to do it because I know and I read and I know what's going to happen to my body. I'm not going to put that much stress on. But if you're going to do it, just make sure that you're not overdoing it. Listen to your body, right? If you start getting dizzy, make sure you're taking it down and getting oxygen. You know, that's one thing I don't want people to start doing is going and working out and dying in there from cardio stress. So just be in tune to your body, listen to your body. Don't overdo it, folks. And if you have any underlying medical conditions, you must talk to your medical doctor and get a plan with them because you just don't want to go in there and wear the face diaper and start pumping iron and running and cardio because it's very, very unhealthy. And if you have any kind of underlying medical condition, it can be deadly. Okay. So again, I don't know why they're not talking about this. Their top doctor is not getting on and warning people about this. They're like, okay, open up gyms, wear your face diaper. Have at it, folks. That's not responsible because people have to be aware of what can happen. And that's why I want to get on here tonight and let you know, just be careful if you're going to do it. Okay. So let's talk about this last thing. So I went to the unlocked petition table in my hometown in Texas Corners. I was excited to meet my fellow patriots. and they're getting it done, hammering it down, as we say. All right. And a woman came up and she had her face diaper on, and she had an underlying medical condition, obviously, because she was handicapped. Okay. She was in the handicapped parking lot, and she came up and it's just not really nasty, but just kind of basically said that, Gretchen is saving people's lives. And that's what they believe. And I said, that's fantastic. She's like, I had COVID. You guys are acting like it didn't exist. I was like, no, it exists. It's real. But that's not about COVID. This is about a bipartisan movement on getting the repeal 1945 law done so we can restore the checks and balances. And she didn't want to hear any of that. And she said, she saved my life. And she said that I had COVID and I'm still dealing with the consequences of it. And I looked at her and I said, well, you're upright and you're moving. You're outside. Congratulations, you did it. Right? And the lovely lady who was collecting signatures, guess what? She had COVID too in the past. But her attitude was totally different. She wasn't wearing a face diaper. She wasn't low energy. This woman was. Right? So, and then I was thinking like, well, if you already had COVID, why are you wearing a mask? You're not contagious anymore. You're not going to get it again. Right? It may mutate like viruses do, but why are you wearing the mask still, the face diaper? So it still, stuff like that doesn't make sense to me. But to each their own. Again, I'm not against the face diapers, folks. I'm not. If people want to wear them, have at it. I'm not going to wear them. And I just don't believe that you should mandate that type of stuff. And you shouldn't mandate businesses and threaten to take away their licenses if they don't mandate it. That's where I have a problem with it. I don't care if people wear the face diaper for the rest of their lives. Have fun. I'm not going to do it, but I'm not against the face diapers. I'm against the mandating it. There's a big difference, right? Because you shouldn't be able to mandate anything that goes against that beautiful piece of paper with those words on it that we all are fighting for right now. So let's talk about some stats to shoot down the narrative of things, especially the girl still scared to death that she's going to die of COVID after she's already had it. That's what fear mongering do, folks. So there's medical studies out of UCLA and Stanford that were just released. And the probability from getting this virus, going to the hospital, and dying is, according to the research, an extremely rare event. See, I like that because that's truth. So when the governor and her people get on and they start talking about, that they're still scared, this virus is real, you better face diaper it up, it's going to save your life and it's going to save your kid's life. And they do all this fear mongering and everybody's like, oh my gosh. And even people that have already had this virus, they're still masking up after months of already having it. You're not contagious anymore. So it doesn't make any sense. But when you see the data and the research and they say the probability from getting this virus, going to the hospital and dying, according to the research, is an extremely rare event. It's an extremely rare event. And it's extremely rare event. Let's get that into our heads. It's very rare, okay? The average person, 1 in 3,836, okay? That's the odds of you contracting this virus. 1 in 3,836. And in the research, they had no face diapers and they had no social distancing. They were just opening up as normal. Okay. So the odds of you just getting this, not getting it, going to the hospital and dying, just getting the virus. And most people don't even know that they have the virus. They're asymptomatic, which we have found, according to the medical research, that asymptomatic people are not spreading it. And according to the CDC, you do not need to test. But the governor don't want to listen to CDC anymore because I guess they're getting bad counsel and they're wrong. So it doesn't support a narrative of testing. But the odds of the average person, let me say it again, 1 in 3,836 of you contracting this illness. Pretty slim odds, okay? And that was without social distancing, without face diapers, all right? So they also took an age group, 50 to 64, which is just under the people who are really, unfortunately, dying from this. And so the odds of them getting this virus and then going to the hospital, so not only contracting it, but going to the hospital, is 1 in 852,000 in a risky group, not the riskiest, okay? Because if you're over the age of 70 and over the age of 80 with 2 or 3 underlying medical conditions, your chances of dying of this are not bad. Actually, if you look at the data, there's more people living through this than dying, but your risk goes up. We'll say that, but it's not like you are. It's an extremely rare event. That's what the medical research is saying. So 1 in 852,000 of contracting it and going to the hospital. Okay, not dying, just contracting and going to the hospital and say, hey, I need some help. So the odds of you getting this virus, going to the hospital, and dying in the ages of 50 to 64 years of age is 1 in 19.1 million. 1 in 19.1 million. Those are some good odds, folks. That's the risk if you're anywhere from the age of 50 to 64. Now, granted, if you're under that, the risk is astronomically bigger. I don't know what it is, but I know the young people are not dying from this virus, right? There are some, but majority of them no. So it's astronomical because, again, it's an extremely rare event. But the odds of the age group of 50 to 64 years of age is 1 in 19.1 million of you getting it, going to the hospital, and dying. Unbelievable, right? Doctors were shocked on how low it was, right? Not us, because we've been saying this from the beginning, but doctors are now shocked that it's so low. Okay, good. Let's get this stuff out here and let's get rid of these guys who are on face diapers because obviously they're not needed. It's a source of control, right? You know what your odds of dying in a car crash are? 1 in 114. Those are your odds of dying in a car crash. And you have, if you're 50 to 64 years of age, a 1 in 19.1 million chance. Clown show, folks. It is the ultimate clown show. We all know. And that's why I just wanted to get on here tonight, let you know that, number one, we're right. And the data continues to support what we've been saying for the past 6 months, right? That lockdowns aren't the best way of handling this, what the research shows right now. Number two is this virus is not as deadly as they once fear-mongered us into believing, that millions and millions of Americans were going to die, right? And number three, wearing a face diaper while you're exercising is very dangerous. And if you're going to do it, just make sure it's low. But I just will continue to get on here and tell you the truth and be transparent so you all can continue to hammer down and get this done. We're 2 weeks away, folks. We are 2 weeks away from getting this done. We're going to have 400,000 by Monday, and then we're going for that 500,000. The momentum that you all are doing right now, it's building. It's building. We're going to get it done. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And then we submit them. It goes in front of the Secretary of State, and we are going to put pressure on the Secretary of State to confirm the signatures. Then it goes in front of the legislature, and both the House and the Senate are ready to vote to repeal it. No veto. We're done. Checks and balances are back to where they belong. And then hopefully we can get on with our freaking lives. That's just the truth, okay? I'm proud of every single one of you. You all have no quit in you. None at all. And it's been humbling to watch. You guys are all amazing. Giving up your weekends and your nights and time away from your family to get this done, to fight tyranny. And that's what I always say when I speak is you all are a part of this movement. You all are a part of something very special. You all are living for a cause bigger than self. And that's passion. And that's rare in today's world. And you all can tell your kids and your grandchildren that you were a part of something special, that you fought against tyranny, that you stood up and did something about it. Not like most people who just sit in the shadows. And that was me. I was that guy until April 9th. Okay. And so we'll continue to get this done. And so we'll continue to get the pressure on the Secretary of State to confirm them, to restore checks and balances, and we'll see where this movement evolves from there. But there's obviously a lot that we need to do and continue to do as a movement. So we're going to continue to fight for all of you, and we'll continue to allow we the people to have a voice, because what we want to do next is hold our elected officials accountable. We can no longer just vote and say, okay, good luck. We are going to make sure that they are doing what they promised to do and act on behalf of we the people. That's where it should be in this beautiful constitutional republic. So continue to hammer down. Enjoy your weekend with your family. Celebrate. Get out there and get those signatures, though. We need to continue to do that. But make sure that you're looking up the research that I have on there, so that builds a belief system so you know when you're talking to other people, because we have to continue to motivate and inspire others to join this movement, to basically unplug them from this fear narrative. And the more face diapers we can take down, that's going to let us know that we're getting it done, okay? Because the research is showing it right now that the hard part of this is all over as of right now. It could change, but it's probably over, folks. It's time to get back to life, okay? So that's what we have to push next. So have a great weekend. Keep hammering down, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud of every single one of you. God bless you. God bless the state of Michigan. And God bless these United States. I'll talk to you all soon.